Hello, my loves. Welcome to my channel. This is Soul Sessions with Ayabami, which is me. As you guys can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be why I quit my job. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some details and some reasons on why I made that decision. It was a very tough decision, but it was very so much needed at this point in my life. I'm going to give you guys some background information on me just in case you're curious or to help this kind of flow a little bit better. I have a bachelor's degree in communications. I finished my master's degree in psychology in April 2020, which was last year. My chosen career field for like the past 4 to 6 years has been mental health and community outreach. My long-term goal was to go and get a PhD and become a licensed psychologist. Like I said, I have chosen to leave that field completely. I still want to focus on mental health and spirituality because I believe that that really is my calling, to help people in that area or people that are struggling with mental health issues. But I want to focus on more of like a holistic approach going forward. One of the main reasons that I chose to leave the field was health, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It was everything. Okay. Spiritually, I'll start with that first. I have been unhappy in the field from probably the very beginning, which is sad. But I told myself that I had to do these jobs because they were entry level. And if I didn't like speak on this, I work with like people that had like autism, the homeless population, or sometimes youth. It just kind of varied at what job that I was at. But I felt that I had to do these jobs because they were like entry level, like I just mentioned, and that it was just like stepping stones. And once I got my PhD and got licensed, things would be different. It took me 4 years to do the bachelor's degree. It took me probably 2.5 because I started taking like less classes to do the master's. The PhD, you guys, which is crazy, it would have taken me between probably like 5 to maybe 6 years. Okay, just give or take, or it could have been more. So I've been in school a very long time. I just turned 28 in February. So I went to college undergrad for my bachelor's at the age of 17. So I've been in school a long time. If I would have went and pursued the PhD, I wouldn't have probably got done, you guys, until like maybe 34 or 35. So I know. And at this time, you guys, I'm kind of burnt out from school. My whole entire schooling, I should say, I've had to work at least one job, maybe sometimes two or three, and go to school. So it's been very stressful and very challenging for me, and it's been very draining. And it caused me to kind of have to sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of free time to just have fun, even in my youth. And as I'm getting older, it just seems like that there's more things that are more important, excuse me, than just my career and going to school. And I feel like I have so much knowledge just from school and just through my life experiences. I really want to share that with people, and also help heal myself and help heal other people in the process. And mentally, you guys, I was just so overwhelmed, so anxious, so stressed. It got to the point where my body would clench up, and I know this sounds so crazy, but just imagine my fist. Like this is how my body felt. I think I have some lipstick on there. I'm sorry, you guys, but that's how my body felt, you guys. Like my chest would tighten up, like my arms would tighten up, my stomach would tighten up, and like I would be wanting to talk, but like my throat chakra, like I couldn't get anything out of my mouth. Like even if I tried to force myself to speak, I would just be like, that's it. So like I said, just because I wasn't recognizing mentally and spiritually how unhappy I was, then my body was like, I'm going to show you how unhappy you are mentally, physically, and spiritually. And like I said, and I don't, maybe I did already mention this, I had a previous health condition, and I feel like that the job and working in the field was making it worse because I was so stressed and so anxious and so overwhelmed. And the reason why I felt that way, you guys, because just working in mental health and community outreach, it's a lot. You are usually responsible for other people who are adults. Um, how can I put this in a kind way? Um, Sometimes they're baby, because I'm not even going to try to like sugarcoat it like I usually do. Um, you baby them, you kind of spoon feed them. So it puts a lot of stress on you. Also, the job, when I signed up for it, you guys, and what type of work I was doing while I was there for the past 6 months was totally different than what I interviewed for. Okay. I tried to be flexible and say, okay, it's because of the illness and times are changing, which is true. But it just seemed like it was being used as an excuse after a while. It seems like that the job was shifting completely, the company was shifting completely. And I understand that when you work places that you will usually do things that you were not told that you were going to do. But you guys, it was just like I was spending probably like 30 minutes to an hour per week on what I actually signed up to do. And then everything else was just like different tasks that were being thrown at me that really had nothing to do with that. And I'm just going to be very like transparent. Either it was outside of my scope and I had no experience, they were not going to give me any training on it. So it was like I was kind of like lost. Okay. And then also when I would try to talk to my supervisor, and give her like ideas of things I had brainstormed and how I wanted to go forward in the actual project that I was working on, my ideas were always like shut down. And then like when I would ask her, when I would ask my supervisor, like, what are some things that you want me to do, or how would you like me to move forward, it would just be like, well, this is going to be a very interesting experience, which that's really what my supervisor told me one time. And I was just like, that's not helpful to me. So it just made me even more anxious and more stressed, because it was like I was just lost. Like I was just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, y'all. That's how I felt, with no guidance, no direction at all. So it just was extremely overwhelming for me, and it made me even more unhappy than I already was in the field. And I just kept on telling myself, Ayabami, just push forward, because I had like a year contract with the company. So I had like maybe 4 or 5 months left. And I was just like, push forward, everything will be okay. But I was just so unhappy. And when my body started to shut down on me to the point that I couldn't even speak, you guys, like I couldn't function, I was just like, okay, I'll be like, you have to make a change. The second reason, you guys, and this is just the jobs I worked at, and mainly in California as well too. In community outreach, and even people I went to school and did my master's with mental health and stuff, they don't pay you well. Like for like entry level, like of course if you're like a licensed like psychologist, a doctor, then yeah. But you guys, it takes so much work to get that stuff started up. Like literally being like, you could go work at a hospital or like work at a clinic or something like that. But if you start up like your own practice, like you gotta find clients, you gotta market, like you gotta pay the office rent. Like it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Like a lot of stuff, you guys. So the pay was just horrible, like pennies on a dollar, you guys. Like it would be times where I would get like my paychecks and I would have to sit down and say, okay, well, I can pay my rent. This bill may be late because I don't have enough money for groceries and to do this and do that and pay my rent and pay my light bill and this and third. So I probably should go online and say that I need to pay it at a later date. Okay, which is sad, but that's just the reality of it. Also, I was supposed to be getting, I guess, like a bonus or like a stipend every month. And I wouldn't get it. And it was odd because like I got my regular check through my account, like just automatically, but they would send the bonus or the stipend through the mail as like a check. I wouldn't get it for like months, you guys, like 2-3 months. So then it's like I started asking about it, and then it was just like it would take forever for the person to get back to me. It kind of seemed like it just wasn't a priority for them. And that's in general, you guys. I feel like that my job description wasn't a priority at the company. Me getting paid in a timely manner wasn't important at the company. Like it just was, honestly, after a while, it began to affect my self-esteem, my confidence, because I just feel like that I was not being respected. Okay, because that's my livelihood, that's my money. Like, if you promise me something in a contract, I expect it, you guys. Okay, and I wasn't getting it, and I feel like I was kind of getting like a little bit of pushback when I started to ask about it. So it got to the point where I was just like, I'm not gonna ask about it, God. If the check comes, it comes, okay. But it would affect my payments and rent and bills I had to pay tremendously each month when the check didn't come. So it's like I was constantly always behind in everything. Um, Also, just with my like experience, you guys, like all of my education that I just listed, all the jobs and like the people I had worked with and stuff, I feel like I was settling, excuse me, and I was just like literally selling myself short. And just on this journey I've been on, it's like I found my self-worth, and I realized, Ayambi, you are worth so much more than what this job is giving you, and you are willing to take this. It says a lot about how much you love yourself. So I was just like, okay, I know that I deserve more, so why am I still here? Like, you're not happy, you're not getting the money that you're supposed to be getting, you have so much experience, so much education, and you're here. Why, girl? Like, literally, like I literally had to ask myself that, because it was ridiculous to make myself that miserable for something that I really wasn't getting that many benefits out of. And I don't want to sound ungrateful, you guys, but it's just like, I know my worth, and I know that the God I serve would not want me to ever be that unhappy. Like, I mean, unhappy, you guys, where it put me in such a dark place. A dark place. Like, that's how unhappy I was. Which, due to the circumstances and like the illness and stuff happening, you guys, I kind of did feel stuck, because I was supposed to go work at the school system and work with like students with autism. The school systems have been closed in California, you guys, since last March. They're not opening. Okay, so like they called me and said, hey, we're still interested, but we just don't know how we're gonna move forward. I got the voicemail. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I never called them back, because it may be next year until I even talk to them and start, because that's just how things are right now. So I did feel kind of stuck, just because I wasn't licensed in anything licensed, excuse me. And I didn't want to go back to school, or different things like that. So it's just like I was like, okay, well, this is the best thing I can get right now. But if you actually limit your mindset to that, then that is the best thing that you will get right now. And if I look down, you guys, it's because I took notes. The third reason, you guys, is I didn't feel comfortable with the job, as I already went in detail a lot. And just with my coworkers, just the energy, it just wasn't very welcoming. It wasn't very supportive, and it wasn't everyone, you guys, but for the majority, it just wasn't a very welcoming environment. Like, I didn't feel like that I could be open and go to people and say, hey, I need help with this, I'm struggling with this on the job, this and that third, like, do you have any like advice? I didn't feel that way. And how I mentioned earlier, I felt that when I did go and try to speak up to my supervisor and talk to other coworkers about some things that like I wanted to move forward in and their advice on, it's kind of like my ideas were kind of shooed away. They weren't important. I wasn't included in things. Like, just for example, we were working at home because of the things that were going on. When we were set to move into the office, I was told that I wouldn't have an office at the new workplace. And I said, okay. So it's just like, I just didn't feel included at all, you guys. So it just made it very awkward. And how I said earlier, it really started to like affect my confidence and my self-esteem. And it just was unbearable after a while, you guys. And my fourth reason, which is probably like one of the most important reasons, was signs from God, you guys. Like, just my physical body and just things happening around me. Like, I'm gonna give you guys an example. Like I had a very like big meeting. It was one of my first meetings. My carbon dioxide alarm went off for like 8 or 9 hours, like from 10 o'clock until like 4 o'clock, like right into the meeting was about to start. Mind you guys, I've lived in my apartment maybe for almost 2 years. Carbon dioxide alarm has never went off. So of course now I'm alarmed because it's a carbon dioxide alarm. So I'm like, okay, is something leaking in the apartment? So then I had to call the gas company. I went through and had the meeting. I was like a jittery mess because it was just so much stuff going on. I had to get the maintenance people to come change it. I had to call the gas company to come and do a test to make sure that nothing was leaking in the apartment. And I remember telling my sister, I was like, it is the most craziest thing. I was like, everything that could go wrong went wrong today. And I think also like I have like online banking. So something happened with the online banking to where it locked my account. So then I couldn't get any food. Like I was supposed to go grocery shopping. I couldn't go grocery shopping. I wanted to order food. I couldn't order food until like the block was taken off my account. I tried to call people. No one would answer. Like the whole system was down. And this all happened on the same day, you guys. And things like this happen often when I had meetings. And little old me was never like, girl, it's because God doesn't want you here. And I remember, like I said, telling my sister, this is so crazy. Like, why does this always happen? Like, it always happens, you guys. And things like that for me, and it could be different for you. That's always a sign from God that this is not the path that I want you on. I don't want you to be here. I don't want you to be interacting with these people. But you're still here, my child. So why? So I ignored it, you guys, ignored it, which is sad. And then finally I was just like, okay, I get it. Like, because even though I wasn't happy, I was just like, okay, like this is my livelihood. At least I can pay my rent, even though I can't pay all of my bills, which is a mindset of lack and poverty, you guys. Okay. And that's something that I struggle to release because that's how I grew up in. That was the environment. That's how my family acted. That's how most of my friends I knew acted as well too. I'm just going to be very honest. So it was very hard for me to release that. And it came to a point where I said, if I don't let go of that, then nothing that is greater than this will ever be able to come into my life. And I don't make this video, you guys, to try to bash anybody or be shady. It's literally to encourage you to follow your soul's purpose. Okay, to do things that light up your heart and your soul, okay, that bring you peace mentally, physically, and spiritually, okay. You should never allow someone to have control over your happiness and over your health. Never. Okay. And that's one thing that I learned from this experience is my self-worth, how important my health is, and how important, most important thing for me to listen to God, to listen to the universe, to listen to spirit, however you want to call it. That is the most important thing. And to follow my intuition and to follow my heart's truest desires, not what the world tells me I should do, not what my lower self says I should do, which is usually fear, but what my higher self says to do, which is always from God. Okay. So hopefully this video resonated with you or you take something away from it. Okay. I want you guys, if you're comfortable, to let me know in the comment section, just what are some things that you're holding on to that just no longer serve you mentally, physically, or spiritually. Also, what are some things that you are sugarcoating in your life? Okay. I'm just going to be honest. I'm the queen of sugarcoating. Like I would be like, oh, this is bad, but you know, it's really not that bad, you know, and it was actually so subtle that I never realized it. And I feel like that is the reasons why I had the issues with speech, and I'm still working through that in the throat chakra, because I always hit my truth, like, and always sugarcoated things, even my personality, even my appearance. Like I worked in environments where I couldn't wear my hair purple. I couldn't wear my makeup like this, which I know is just hair and makeup, but it comes to the point where I was willing to downgrade myself and be who God created me to be, because this feels normal to me. Like I feel comfortable, but I would have to change my appearance, change how I act, because of the type of jobs that I chose to work at. Okay. And key word is I chose. Okay. So let me know, you know, if you're comfortable, you guys, and if this video resonated with you, let me know in the comment section. I love to read everyone's comments. Okay, I'm almost at 20 minutes, so I need to wrap up. But I also have another YouTube channel, you guys. So if you guys are interested in like healing, we talk about psychology, astrology, tarot cards, you name it. Okay, so I'll make sure to link that down below, you guys. And this is a new adventure. I want us to be able to share ourselves on a soul level, and share our hearts with each other, okay, with like no judgment. I'm not usually so much of a vocal person. For years I've always kept all of my deep emotions inside, so me doing this video was stepping outside of my comfort zone, excuse me, a lot. a lot. Okay, so if I was a little nervous, that's the reason why, but I'm happy that I did this, and I want to continue to make videos like this for us to share ourselves with on a more intimate level. Okay, most importantly, my loves, if you haven't heard this today, you are loved and you are cherished. Until next time, my loves, bye bye.